Hey, it's Joy. I've got big feelings about little things, and I want to talk about it. Oh yeah, I'm mad about it. And the fact that everyone else is not up in arms about it is a big part of the problem. Oh, I bawled my eyes out, like I always do. It was the sweetest thing. Oh, it was the cutest thing. It was the funniest thing. Thanks for being here. Let's go. Hey, we've got a cool new thing at Little Things, Big Feelings. A lot of people have been so kind as to share with me what you have big feelings about, and I would love to hear about it. Will you please call me and let me know what you have big feelings about? I've got an open voicemail box that is waiting for you, okay? Can't wait to hear from you. Please let me know. Here's our number. Ready? It is 214-519-9373. Actually, as a matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to put that in somewhere where you can see it. I want you to just save that number in your phone. You don't have to call me right this second. I want you to save that number in your phone. Save it as Joy, voicemail, Little Things, Big Feelings. Put it as Big Feelings. I don't care. But I want you to save that number in your phone. And the next time you're like thinking, man, I'm having really big feelings and I don't know if this is something people actually have big feelings about, I want you to call me right at that moment, okay? Call me anytime, 24 hours a day. It is 214-519-9373. And if you do, this could be you.
Boy, it's Natalie. I know this is a little thing, but I have a really big feeling about it, and it is getting under my skin. And I want to talk about it. Listen to me. In America, we have absolutely gone overboard with the tipping. It's on everything. Mm-hmm. It's on the Sonic Drive Up. It's on the Starbucks app. It's on the Starbucks drive-through. Now listen, if I'm going to sit in your restaurant of choice and you're going to wait on me and we're in a dining place and we're going to have dinner or drinks or whatever, but your job is to bring me my food and that is a service that you provide, then yes, I can tip you. However, if I'm at a drive-through window and I order my beverage or my food or whatever I'm going to eat, and I drive through and all you do is turn your body from the left to the right to my car window and give me my food, I'm not going to tip you. You are earning an hourly rate to make my food or beverage, whatever I ordered from you. That's what you're getting paid an hourly fee for. I'm not going to tip you on top of that. But if I go in and sit down to a restaurant, to the establishment where you're working, and you take my order and you write it down, you go to the kitchen, and then you monitor it, and you're managing your time, and you bring me what I ordered, and you're living on $2.13 an hour, then yes, I'm happy to tip you. So happy to tip you. But not whenever you're standing at a drive-through window and you've just literally turned your body in 180 degrees. No, you're not getting it. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. I feel like at the gym, they're going to start doing it. Hi, would you like to work out at this establishment? And would you like to tip $1, $3, or $5? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's everyone. It's a little thing, but I've got a big feeling about it, and I want to talk about it.
Natalie, oh, girl, I hear you. Thank you so much for calling. Definitely appreciate it. It's called tip fatigue. And I do think a lot of us have it. So let's go back in time a little bit, because sometimes to understand where we are, we need to understand from whence we came, okay? We need to know where we've been to find out why we're in this spot right now. I'm just going to tell you from my personal perspective, and maybe this will help. When I was young, one of my very early jobs was being a waitress. A wait staff, and we called them waitresses back then. And I lasted at that job for 6 months, and barely that. I was in college, and I wanted the Christmas break off, and they wanted me to work, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, I just didn't show up. That's the only time I've ever just not showed up to a job. But I was also fine with it, because I was not great at it. It was a struggle. I was always hot. Everything always smelled like food. And I understand you're in a restaurant, but it was just too much. So after that, I was berserk for tipping wait staff. I mean, berserk. And I was on a rampage, really chastising everyone that I knew to tip better than they already did, even if they were good tippers. So sorry, I was kind of a jerk about it, but I was passionate because it's a hard job. And I just want people to know, hey, I know it's hard. And if you're in the weeds, which is a phrase that you use serving tables, it just means like you cannot get ahead. Every time you try to do something, you're running late and you cannot get a hold of what's going on with your tables. You definitely can't sit over in the corner and like glance at your phone for a sec. No, you're behind. And everybody needs a drink. The things waiting at the bar, they need more queso. You got to bring blah, 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 blah. You're in the weeds. So even if you're in the weeds, I'm going to give you an excellent tip because I know what you're going through. Now, every traumatic event starts, well, not every, let me rephrase that. Some traumatic events like this, minor traumas, little t traumas, can sort of wear off over time so that it's, I still remember it was hard, but it's not as close to me now. And I have lost a little bit of that compassion. If I don't get good service, I'm like, what happened there? She wasn't trying. I don't think she was trying hard enough. I think she, I forget. So over time, I believe I'm still a good tipper. I like to tip. I was taught as a young person, don't complain about the tip because that's part of what you're deciding to do. If you're going out to eat, you're going to have to tip. If you're getting valet service, you got to tip. If you're blah, blah, blah. If these things are part of, this is our societal contract that we agreed to. And I don't know who was at the meeting that decided, hey, for this one random type of job, wait staff, we're going to agree that by law, you can pay them like $2 an hour. And we all just know, hey, yeah, the staff the people that you're serving are going to give you a little bit of extra. So, you're making a very, very, very low baseline, assuming you're going to get tips. And the goal of that being, hey, let's keep the cost of the food down and let the people serve you well and earn bigger tips. And we all agreed to that. We all thought, okay, great, this is working out. We've kept that even all this time later. Maybe you didn't grow up tipping. I don't really know, but that's part of what we all kind of agreed to when society said, this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do the payment. Then when COVID came and a bunch of people were at home and a bunch of people were still working in these necessary, what did they call it? I already forgot. Essential spots, essential jobs. Nurses, of course, doctors are essential. And I can say it like that because I'm a nurse. Yes, of course, that we have to have healthcare people. But we also need grocery stores and we need some type of food and drinks. And so a lot of places moved to a different model where they would make to-go orders or there would be some kind of delivery service. So that way, like you don't have to go home and cook every night. You can still grab this food, but we're not going to sit down and have you come bring it to me and refill my drink and this and that and bring, take back my food and tell the kitchen that it wasn't right. You're not doing those types of things for me. But if you were like me, I was so grateful for those people that I was happy to tip. Thank you for being here. I don't want to cook. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. And understanding, like, we're kind of all doing the best we can. We're kind of figuring out how we can still serve. How can we still provide a service? But it may be different than we're used to, but we're still under that same social contract. Okay? And I'm also assuming, well, I don't know. Are people doing okay? Or were they making enough money? Were they making enough sales? I was pretty generous with the tipping back then. And I thought, gosh, I can't believe you're out here risking your health so that I can have a taco for dinner. Thank you. Around that same time, it might have been a little bit before that, the other big change that came was these point of service ways of paying and doing business. What I mean by that is 10, 15 years ago, when you went into a place, they had to have a cash register. And they would do these certain ways to like make sure you could pay. And then they have a credit card system. Now it's an app and you put it on an iPad and you can run your little card through the square, or you can tap it, or you can whatever. And a lot of those types of businesses that used that were little coffee shops, little restaurants, little things. And so there was a built-in, would you like to add a tip onto this? Or like the people selling drinks at a concert or something. Would you like to tip on this? Well, I don't know if you noticed. I sure did. That a lot of places that typically would not have asked for a tip or would have just had a little tip jar that's like, oh, the change, you can throw the change in there. Those people used that point of service system. They had those iPads. And instead of taking that off, they were just like, well, yeah, I mean, if someone wants to give the person a tip, let's just let them. So exactly what you're talking about, Natalie, is the same as it's been for years. I drive, I park, I walk in, I decide what I want to eat. I tell you, you type it, you stand where you're standing at the register and you type in what I want. And someone makes it, and you literally do a 180. You turn around, you grab the coffee, you turn around, you give it to me. And that person, that staff member, is now asking for a 15% tip on that. So I hear you, because that was a little bit of a shock to my system. I was like, oh, whoa. And I wish I remembered the very first time that I was like, this is not a tipping business. This place would have never asked for a tip, would not have put out a tip jar. It is not expected to tip at this place. But because of the iPad, and hey, why would we take it off? Why not? You want to tip me? Go ahead, tip me. That wasn't taken off. So now it's just rampant. And do you know how many people, just out of whatever reason, not paying attention, shame, wanting to feel like, you want to look that person in the eye and be like, no, I don't want to tip you. It's hard. Because I want to be that person that's like shaming everyone else into tipping. But I hear what you're saying. Now it's like, what? Wait. What am I tipping for? I totally want to tip someone that's doing a service for me, helping me, going out of their way, lifting a heavy bag that I don't want to lift. All the things. What exactly is it that I'm tipping you for? And now that we're back to kind of, in the post-COVID world. So now everybody has an iPad, and now we're post-COVID. Everybody's either you're back to your job or you're not, or you're doing whatever, and nobody has to stand 6 feet apart anymore. Nobody has to wear a mask anymore. Nobody has to, any of the things. We don't have to acknowledge it. So I'm like, well, now when I pick up an order of food, wait, am I tipping on that? I mean, someone did me a service. They made some food, but certainly that's covered, right? And I don't mind throwing a little something. I don't mind throwing you $1 for the team. But do I owe you 15% of this order that I'm picking up myself? Oh, girl, I follow you. Now, you did say Sonic, and I got to be honest. I think we should tip at Sonic. Now, the thing I know about Sonic, because one of my friends worked there when he was in high school, I know you don't get a lower rate. You get paid pretty good at Sonic. But where it's hot and when it's summer or when it's cold or when it's raining or whatever, not that I would make someone walk in the rain for me, but I'm just saying, like, you're in the elements for just a second, sure, but you're still in the elements. Some of them wear skates, roller skates. I'm going to tip you. Especially if I'm just getting a drink, I'll give you a quarter. I'll give you $1. What do I care? But I asked for a long time, hey, can you put a tip thing on here? Because if I were paying cash, I could tip you, but I can't tip on this credit card. So we're going to have to agree to disagree on the Sonic. You're in the elements. And there's a small chance you're going to come out in roller skates, which I desperately want to see. But overall, am I fatigued by all the tipping? Yeah. And thank you for sharing your big feelings with me. We should be friends. Okay. Give me a call if you have big feelings that you want to share with me, please. I would love to hear them. 214-519-9373. Can't wait to hear what you're thinking about. Have a great one.
Thanks so much for listening to Little Things, Big Feelings with Joy Delaney. Do you have big feelings? Joy would love to hear them. Call and leave a voicemail at 214-519-9373. 9373. Thanks.
Oh, you have to say the number again
Why?
in case they missed it.
They can just hit that button and rewind 15 seconds.
Okay, I guess, but what if they were getting a pen?
A pen? A pen. This is a podcast. It's all on your phone.
Yeah, but don't you still have to type it in or something?
That's not really how any of this really works. That's 214-519-9373. Is that good?
Thank you, James.